Why, hello, weary traveller. Please, sit. Welcome to my humble abode. I should hope all has been well on your journey. Beautiful night. Beautiful night for a story. Seek you a tale of woe? A tale of woe? Or a tale of wisdom? No wisdom? Well, you may find that you'll get it anyways. I shall tell you a story tonight of two widows' sons and the three-headed giant, the Red Etin. The widow lived on the outskirts of a great kingdom. Two sons, the first, strong, brave, cunning, and beautiful. The younger son, small and frail, but good of heart, kind to those who were kind to him. When the widow had decided that her sons were ready to enter into the world, she went to the eldest son first, and she said, "Boy, it is time for you to go now. Bring me but a pail of water, and I shall bake you a cake for your journey, and that is all I can give to you." The son obliged, went to the well, filled the bucket to the brim, and brought it to his cold and hardened mother. She made him a cake, as so promised, with walnuts and honey dripping from its sides. She asked him, "Boy, I would like half your cake. Should you give such to me, you shall receive my motherly blessing. Should you keep it all for yourself, yes, your stomach may be full for quite a while, but you shall only then receive my curse." Oh yes, indeed. The elder son thought to himself, better to be full before a long journey, and thought not much of his mother's curse, for he knew her not to be a holy woman, he knew her not to be spiritual, and so he took the cake for himself and left on his merry, merry way. He traveled for 3 days and 3 nights before coming to the outskirts of the kingdom, whereupon he saw an old crow of a woman dressed in a black shawl. The woman called out to him, young lad, I see you have a mighty fine sack of cake by your side. Might you spare an old blind woman a piece?" And the boy thought about it long and hard and said, "No, it's better to walk full." The woman warned him as he approached the city that there was an awful, terrible giant within the kingdom, the Red Etin, with 3 heads, each more horrifying than the last. The Red Etin had kidnapped the fair princess and was holding her hostage, and the young lad thought, well, a princess held captive? Why, I am but a humble widow's son. Perhaps should I rescue this princess, I will find myself with a beautiful bride and all the riches in the world. You'd like that, wouldn't you? He went to the home of the Red Etin, walked inside, and saw the princess, who ushered him inside and said, "What, young boy, are you doing here? This is the home of the Red Etin." Why would you come here? Do you not know what happens to travelers who come to this place? The boy did not. All he knew was that there was money to be gained and a beautiful woman to be made his bride. Foolish enough, he thought such would still be the case, even with the warning of the old crow, even with the warning of the princess, and with the curse of his mother. He decided to stay, and soon came out the Red Etin, a great, horrible man, well over 30 feet tall, long hair shaking, curled from each head, yellowed teeth, rotten to the core, and he would look down at his victims, those who came to his home, and he would say, "Young man, you come into my home uninvited. I shall ask you 3 questions of this world and the next. Should you answer them correctly, you may leave and take all that is mine with you. Should you answer them falsely, and I will take that which I want, your feeble, conniving life." The young man thought him smart. The world knew him to be cunning, so he tried to answer the questions, but each head had a different question, each more puzzling than the last, and he did not answer but one right. The Red Etin laughed a horrifying laugh, and the man thought he would be eaten, but the Red Etin was far more cruel. From his side he took a wand, tapped it to the head of the man, and turned him into stone, crumbling for a time. Back in the home of the widow, the younger son knew that his brother had met a terrible fate. Before his brother left, he'd given the younger son a knife, telling him, "Should the knife ever become rusty, know that I am in a great peril." And the knife, sure enough, had become rusted within just 3 days and 3 nights. The younger son himself was ready, and he said to his mother, "It is time for me to follow in my brother's footsteps. I shall go into the world and I shall make something of myself." She said, "Very well. Bring me a pail of water, and I will make you a cake. That, my son, is all I can give you." The younger son did so, filled it to the brim, brought it to his mother, and sure enough, she made him a cake, with honey dripping from its sides, walnuts scattering across its top. She gave the cake to the boy and asked him, "Son, I would like half of it. Should you give me half your cake, I will give you my blessing, but should you keep the whole for yourself, you will have my curse and nothing more." The younger son was kind, and he knew his mother did not have much to her name and not much food in her cupboards, so he gave her half the cake and left on his merry way. He came across the old crow. She spoke to him, "Boy, I see you have a fine cake in your side. Might I have a piece?" Young boy was kind, gave her the piece, and she took her black shawl off from her shoulders, revealing herself to be something much more great. A fairy. Yes. She said to him, "Thank you, quite kind of you, good boy. For your kindness, I shall give you a great treasure, a wand. With this wand you shall go to the palace of the Red Etin and slay him, taking back the princess and all his riches with you." The young boy thought such sounded good, so he went to the palace following just in his brother's footsteps. He walked into the home of the Red Etin to see his brother cast in stone. The princess said, "What, pray tell, are you doing here? Do you not know what happens to those who enter the home of the Red Etin?" "You know, don't you?" The boy was not like his brother. He was scared. But he knew that he had to save his brother, and he wanted riches to bring home to his beloved mother. And so he stayed, and the Red Etin returned, looking down at him. It had 3 questions for him. He may not have been as smart as his older brother, but he took his time, patient with each question, and got 1, 2, 3, all right. The Red Etin was scared and shriveled in fear before the great man before him, and the young boy pulled out a wand, flicked it at the Red Etin, and in that moment became a man. The Red Etin, cast in stone, fell on his side, deceased. With the wand, he revealed his brother's form to the world, freed him from stone, every captive beneath the Red Etin's keep. He took the princess to be his bride. He took the riches of the Red Etin, and he himself became king consort of all the land. Would be a happy ending, wouldn't it? Well, we can't have that. This is a tale of woe. Did I not say that? I'm sure I did. Years, decades, centuries would pass, and in that time the world forgot of the great terror of the 3-headed giant. When he'd first come to the kingdom, the Red Etin was feared and despised, but many in the kingdom thought him to be a good and lawful leader. He would help build their homes. He would build the walls to protect the city from the great, great fearful creatures that lurked in the forests beyond. So he was given a great burial site, like any king would deserve. And burial sites are meant to be untampered with. But history forgets, and in time, the great Red Etin would come to be known as a myth. Till centuries later, when a young man was too curious for his own good, all of the riches, king's riches buried with the Red Etin, enough to make a man fed for all his life and 20 more. This young man, he stepped forward into the world, and he sought to find the grave of the Red Etin. Success. He unveiled the catacombs, and there it was, a skeletal thing, horrible really. 3 heads, gnarled teeth, all preserved in time. The boy sensed what he had done and knew should he take any one of these riches, the world that remembered the great Red Etin would come for his head. And so he left without taking a thing. But nevertheless, he saw the Red Etin's corpse, and that was enough for Lady Death to seize his gaping throat come 3 days afterwards. The curse of the Red Etin lives on. You came to this place. What were you looking for? Me. That's right. the spirit of the Red Etin, you will leave this place, and in 3 days you will die.